to.
So obviously you've been a member of the FAB Business Club pretty much since it started, haven't you? You were there with me cheerleading.
Absolutely.
What inspired you to join? What was it about it that made you think, yeah, I want to sort of be part of this?
Well, as you say, we'd been talking already. So I'd already been part of Project FAB, and I'd been doing the style group and learning about my personal brand, and actually just being around you where you knew these rules and stuff about style, but you kept going, if you love it, that's all that matters. And it was really hard for me to work out whether I loved it, because I've been so conditioned to work out what other people like and then trying to be that in order to fit in. So I think that was the first thing, because that was my first experience with you. And then we did accountability, and just you really encouraged me to turn up and actually say I'm having a bad week isn't really in my nature, because my conformist wants to always look professional and doesn't want to say anything. So actually having those conversations with you. So I'd had an experience of me being me was okay, and me being not okay was okay. But I didn't join straight away. You might remember or not that it took me a couple of months. And it's mainly because it was female, authentic and ballsy. And I kind of went, I don't think I'm ballsy enough. And when you say about pearl snatchers, who people don't like swearing, I don't like swearing. I do swear, by the way, but I don't like it. And I think I can still hear my granddad and my mum. And so I had a bit of doubt whether it would be okay for me. But I realized that I'd really like to be more ballsy. So I decided that I wanted to be around people who were either on that journey to be more authentic, more ballsy, or I discovered that maybe I was more ballsy than I thought I was already. So that's a very long answer, but that's basically, yeah, to get more balls maybe.
And the thing is, as you know, I used that word specifically as a self-selecting, it's kind of like, well, if you're a bit about that, probably not going to be the right place for you. So,
yeah.
It's worth
and even now with your sweary calendars and all that, I still do that. I still feel very uncomfortable with it, but I think what I love about it is that it's an environment where, even though I'm uncomfortable, it's okay for me to be uncomfortable with it, and I'm not being judged. Especially because it's a bit hypocritical, because I do swear and then I say I don't want something with swearing in writing. So I think that's the whole thing, is that it's a safe space to be whoever I am.
Yeah.
And that's what ballsy means. It's not really about, you have to swear in order to fit in.
Oh no.
we would never get another word in Edgeway, would we?
So what's your favourite thing about being a member of the FAB Business Club?
The people that you attract. They are strong, determined, vibrant, successful in all different kinds of ways, with it's just a huge network and a resource of skills and talent. But a lot of us have experience being in a group and not feeling like we belong. And so there's a real camaraderie and commitment to inclusion and acceptance of what is, rather than trying to change who they are. Even from the point of people do say about having a bad day or something's going wrong, there isn't a load of what I would term rescuing. People aren't there trying to make it better, because there is you'll get through this, you're okay. And then we check to see if there is anything needed, but there isn't a load of, it's not a case of pampering around us when we're not having it. It's just allowing people to have a space to say, actually,
yeah,
I ain't got the world today.
Yeah, it's empathy rather than sympathy.
Yeah,
I think is yeah.
Yeah, and there's also something about, I remember me feeling like if I show that side, people might lose sight of my strengths. So I think the thing is, people don't lose sight of all the things you're good at just because they see you having a wobbly moment. I think it's a community that recognizes those wobbly moments are just that. They're moments in time. They're an expression of how you feel for a moment, but it doesn't define how you're going to show up in an hour's time with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's ridiculous, because I deal with it all the time in my world. I see people upset, and I don't think any less of them. But for me, there was still a fear that they're, well, everybody else could do it, but I couldn't. That wasn't okay.
And I think in business and in like typical networking, that's very common, which is why I absolutely wanted the space to be not that.
Yeah.
So
but equally, it could have gone the other way though, Lisa, and it hasn't. And I really need to be sort of clear if anyone's watching this, is because I have been in environments where people are encouraged to speak, but it becomes a real sort of what I call, it's all about what's not working. So if you talk about drama, there's all that like victim. So I think because they're self-aware, because they're strong, courageous people, they are expressing how they feel in order to get rid of it, not to dump it on somebody else, and not to get stuck in it. There's enough wisdom to know that this too will pass. And we're sharing it because it's nice not to feel alone with it, but not because you want to get stuck in it, if that makes
sense. Not a pity party. Yeah,
that's the word. Yeah, it's not that. And I don't really always like when people call negative Nellies, but it's like, it's not being shared to get people to say that you're right to feel the way you are, kind of thing, or to keep you there. It is to sort of release it and to be able to feel better as a result of doing it, rather than getting stuck in amongst all your not so good.
Well, I do appreciate the fact that you did join eventually, despite
I was only about 3 months behind.